And we're live. Hello. Welcome to Sarah's B2B Live Lounge. I am very excited today because I'm just going to get into do my bits behind the background. There we go. I've got two guests today, as you can see. And we are streaming on 5 channels today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very excited. I've got these two amazing guests that I met recently, and we just fell in love, I think, maybe is the, I don't know if that's the right phrase, but I'd love to welcome Ivana Brutanik, if I pronounce that right, and Christina, I'm not even going to try, but Ivana and Christina from SundayFlies.com. Welcome, Ivana and Christina, to the Live Lounge.
Hi, Sarah. We are so excited to be here. Christina is telling her name by herself. Tell it.
Yeah,
it's hard even for Slovak people. It's okay.
It's Polish and Slovak at the same time.
Let's hear it.
Kristina Cichikovačeková.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go, nearly. Anyway, we met on the dance floor, I suppose, really kind of ish, didn't we? And we will talk about dancing in a little bit. But first of all, Ivana, let's go to you first. Can you introduce yourselves and introduce SundayFlies.com and tell us what you do?
Of course. I'm just thinking about our dance right now. So I just have to say that you are a very good dance partner. We loved it.
I loved it too.
And I think you really show your personality on your LinkedIn, and I just loved it. I have to say, before I met you, and now I have met you in person, and you're the same person, which is awesome, of course.
I'm going to actually, before you introduce yourself, I'm going to pick up on that. Because, no, you introduce yourselves, and let's come back to that about being. Yeah, let's come back to that in a minute.
Okay, so we are Ivana and Christina from Sunday Flies. We are also known as LinkedIn Sisters Powerhouse. We have been doing LinkedIn for the last 10 years, started as headhunters for probably around 15 years. Then our clients started to ask, where do we find the best candidates and how is it possible that no one else can find that kind of people? So we started to teach LinkedIn, and it's been probably 10 years. We have done the biggest LinkedIn event in our home country, Slovakia, a LinkedIn conference for 3 days. So we can speak about LinkedIn for a long time.
I love that. I think us three could probably sit here all afternoon actually and talk about LinkedIn, but yes. we won't do that. Well, we've got other things to do. Christina, hello. So you guys are obviously sisters. Have you always worked together?
Oh, no, we didn't. Actually, Ivana started her business when she was 22, and she was always my role model. I remember in high school when they asked me who is your role model, I always said it's my sister. And I always told it like it's true, because she's so inspirational for everyone who met her. And it was the same for me, but I never wanted to work with her. Sorry, I never. she didn't know this, so it's okay. But I was so afraid that our relationship will be destroyed, because of the work, because of the job and some potential struggles that can come with it. But it's not like that. I moved after maybe 5 years. We worked together. I moved to totally like different part of Slovakia, 500 kilometers. So it's around 5 hours by car from the city where I lived. So we are totally separate now, but we are on the phone all the time, like half of a day, always with headphones, walking and talking to myself, And I think this is what saved our relationship in general, that we can work together. And the best part of working with family is that we know each other so well. and we know how to combine our skills and things we are very good at. And the perfect thing is that we are totally different, so we can really make a perfect combination for our clients too.
That's absolute magic. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing, because that's, there's some quite personal stuff in there, and I really value that. And the fact that you know each other so well, you probably don't have to say a lot of the things to each other, because you know that the other one's thinking it, which is a very fortunate place to be in. And how wonderful that your relationship has improved. Not that it was bad, but you know what I mean? It's got even better since you started working together. I had a business with my brothers actually for a while, and that really didn't work. We had to fold that because that was not working. But there were 7 of us. It was just too much. But so I want to step back to what Ivana, what you were saying about being yourself on LinkedIn, because both of you exactly the same. I see you on LinkedIn. I know what your personality is. It's very easy to see that you're both very ebullient. You're fun, but you know your stuff, obviously. And when I first started meeting people in real life after being on LinkedIn during COVID, particularly, people were saying, "Gosh, you're exactly the same as you were on LinkedIn." I was like, well, why would I be different? Why would you be any different? But talking to a lot of people, they do have a different persona for LinkedIn, don't they? A lot of people do. Why do you think that is? Ivana, I'm going to throw that.
Yeah, I think it's really exhausting trying to be someone else, so it's just so easy to be yourself. And I think all of us are wearing masks in some way when we are meeting people who you don't know. But we have been on LinkedIn for so long, that we just got used to it. So it's like, you're meeting your friends and you are talking to your friends, and you don't try to pretend to be someone else. And just today I wrote a post about how LinkedIn is becoming very toxic because everyone is just fakely positive. And I don't agree, because if you follow the right people, they are exactly the same as when you meet them in person. You can have and you can really inspirational posts that are not fakely positive, because those people usually are really positive even in person, Like if you meet Sarah, she's totally a positive person. So you can see the content is positive, and it's very similar with us. I'm not going to tell people what has been bad in my day, because, I want to inspire them for action, really. And I want to be positive. So I don't agree that it's toxically, it's toxic to be too positive.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And we go back to the MP crying on his social media, on his Facebook, I think it was, wasn't it? And he made a mistake. And I think we don't need that. Yes. Having said that, I do believe that sometimes if maybe your content's affected because of the way that you're feeling, if you're going through a rough time, sometimes it's actually not a bad idea. Just say, guys, I'm just having a rough time here. Just bear with me. And I did that, was it 2 months ago? I was having a really, really bad time. And all my family members kept dying. I mean, they were very old, most of them. But it was hard, it was a hard time. And I wasn't quite myself. And I did post about it. I mentioned it, not a sort of woe is me post, but I did mention it. And I had the most incredible support. So much wonderful support from people. But I agree that putting a positive face is a really nice thing. It makes you feel better in yourself as well, I think.
Yeah, because you're focusing on positive things in your life that moment, when you are writing. So it's the same with when you are posting about, when I come to our topic, ambassadors, when they're focusing on the good things that are going on in the company, it's affecting their view on the company too, of course. So it has a very, very good relationship, with the loyalty. This we can see, and you can see it too in your clients. that the loyalty in the companies increases because of the ambassador projects.
Absolutely. And let's touch. Actually, I'm just going to pause for a second and say hello to Ryan Anderson, who's just joined us.
Hi,
Remember
Ryan.
Ryan?
Yes, of course.
Hello, Ryan. Lovely to see you. Chuck any questions in the chat, Ryan, if you fancy. But lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. So
you can't forget Ryan. If you have been
absolutely.
to Uplift Live, you can't forget. So
Ryan wrote the most brilliant song, didn't he, at the end of Uplift Live? And we were all very uplifted after listening to Ryan's song. And Ryan actually wrote me a song too when he was on this show, and it was beautiful. So thank you, Ryan. We have AXA. You're absolutely having a strong support system makes you focus on the positive things. Yes, AXA, thank you for joining us. Welcome. That is so true. Having that support does make you, if you feel supported and happy. Which brings us back to employee advocacy and ambassadors. And let's talk about that for a sec, because it is about being positive and about supporting each other, isn't it? Christina, do you want to dive into that a little bit?
Oh, yeah, of course. I love when companies really focus on the sustainable employee projects, ambassador project, because when they are just having a workshop and say to their employees, okay, just post and take the company, this is the whole instructions. And then after a couple months, no one is posting. Of course, no one is posting because it's not sustainable. And what I like about the sustainable employee ambassador project is how it affects the team, the whole team. We have a system with 5 ambassadors. So we choose 5 ambassadors from the company. It doesn't matter how big this company is. And you can see, for example, a recruiter with a member of the board in the same project. So it's huge. It's huge, and it has amazing impact for every single ambassador. So I love the outcome, really. And we can see amazing results when it comes to employer branding or sales. The same, it's like a huge impact when it's done, of course, right.
Yes, absolutely. And a point there that you made is having somebody from the board, from the C-suite, as part of the program, because it's got to come from the top, hasn't it? It's got to come right from the top, and then everybody else is inspired. So you only choose 5, is that right, from each company, however the size of the company?
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Why 5?
Yeah, so I can talk about the roles we have, and this is why we do it like this. So the first role we have is project guardian. It's someone like a CEO or someone from the board or management, depends on how big the company is, who really drives the project with budget, and really who is saying, this is important, we want to do this, I want you on board. Yes, so an inspirational leader. Then we have our project hero. The project hero is the person who is leading the project. Yes, so it is a hero because this is not a light project. Yes, you work with those people for a long time, so it's hard. So this is a project hero. Then we have ambassadors. So those are people who are actively posting on LinkedIn,
Right,
at least once a week. And then we have cheerleaders
on their personal profiles.
On their personal profiles, yes. And then we have cheerleaders, and that are all other people in the company. So we have 5 people who have KPIs. Each one of them has different KPIs. So for example, we have someone from HR, marketing, sales, product development. It depends on the company, IT department. And they have their own KPIs because, for example, if they are looking for IT people, we have the CTO as an ambassador. And really, the CTO helps to attract similar people as he or she is to the company. So there are very clear KPIs. For all other employees, we have worked with companies that have like 30,000 employees, for example, all over the world. So then what you do is, or what we do is that we have 5 people in each country. And then it's like the first project, and then you can enroll more. Yes. So if it works for those 5, we enroll more. And why we do it like this is because then the ownership of those 5 people is much higher than if we had too many. Yes. So if we had like 30 people, they were like, oh, okay, I'll post next month because somebody else is doing
Somebody
it.
else will do it. Yes.
Yeah. So we divided it into ambassadors and cheerleaders. And everyone who's not posting every week is a cheerleader, and they can post, they can like start posting, and then they can become ambassadors too. So this is the process that we use.
And you're not throwing people in at the deep end, so to speak, and giving them too much to take on.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the idea. And in fact, I think this really works. Having supporters and ambassadors, I think, works really well to help people. And talking of positivity, it always has to have a very positive feel, doesn't it? The whole system. So congratulating people for every effort that they can make.
Yes, the worst thing how you can start employee advocacy is to tell your people, I hate this social media. You go and do it. So if a CEO says this, then it's very hard to start this project. So we have it as a reward for those people. So we do a kickoff session. We present them what are the possibilities, like what is the job of an ambassador, how much do they have to work, because it takes time, obviously, every week. What are the results they can expect? And then we ask them who's interested. And then we have them to say, oh, I'm interested. We have a list of people who are interested. And then we have criteria to choose the ones that will start, the first 5.
Brilliant. I love that. And I'm sure there are always other people after once they see the results and they see how it works, they think, actually, I want to be a part of that. I've got a bit of FOMO going on here. I want to be part of this new thing that's going on.
Yes, exactly. And it's very prestigious, because people, when they are visible, they are, for example, asked to be in a conference, the speakers and everything. For example, journalists are asking them for the articles, so being visible is very good for the career, of course, and they can see the results. And what we really love to do is, for example, when we have ambassador, it can be salesperson too. So if salesperson has KPIs for like business, just the business KPIs, and we add this as a LinkedIn KPIs, we want to connect it. So we show them process we do for the sales on LinkedIn, but it should be connected with the process they already have in the company. So it's not like totally new, but it's somehow, like I don't know how to say it, but
it's
like intertwined, yes, together.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. So it's not a completely whole new thing. It's you're integrating. I think that's the word, isn't it? Integrating it into an existing system, because otherwise it's just going to be too scary, I guess, for people, isn't it? And there's too many new things, and they'll go, I'm not doing it.
Yes, and people don't like change, and this is a big change. So if you are switching to social selling, for example, or digital sales, or if you want your HR people to start using LinkedIn more, or if you have like employee advocacy project, it's a big change for those people. They need to get used to it. And you practically want at least 1 hour a week from them, probably more. So they need to see really why they should do it, what's in it for them. And then they are ready on board, and they can see the possibilities that it can bring.
Yeah, brilliant. I love that. And there are so many possibilities, which I don't think we have time to go into here. But, Christina, you just touched on on one of them is when people, journalists see that you're out there on LinkedIn, see your articles, and ask you, if they can publish in their publications. And that's really valuable, isn't it, for each employee as well as for the company as a whole?
Yes, of course. And for example, we have a lot of our ambassadors or in the companies, in our clients' companies, that are winning awards thanks to visibility, because they all are doing amazing job in the company, but no one from outside can see it. But thanks to LinkedIn, they can show it to the world, and this is amazing. And when you have a social proof for your job, for what you are doing best, I think it's amazing feeling, of course.
Yeah, it is. And it increases the value of what you're doing as well, because then other people see it, and it builds and builds and builds, of course. So on a slightly different direction here, you were in recruitment, and we were talking earlier about potential objections that you might get when you approach a company, or you're talking to a company about introducing a system of employee advocacy. And one of those objections is definitely around recruitment. And I've heard it many times when people have said, if I allow my team and encourage and empower my team, or to go on LinkedIn and start posting on LinkedIn, they're going to get poached. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, that is the great question we get a lot. We have been on the other side as headhunters, so we know how it works. And your people are already poached anywhere they go by headhunters, by their friends that will get money if they, take them to their company so as a referral fee. So they are being poached anyway. And we have been doing headhunting when there was almost like no internet at all, years ago. You had the yellow pages, you had your friends in some companies, and you had to, go there, try to find organizational charts, try to find those people. We were hunting for people on salsa classes because IT people went to salsa dance classes, So it's happening anyways. This is the thing you have to realize. Your people are already online. In general, it's 2 hours and 30 minutes every day globally. So imagine that you can transform your consumers of social media to creators. So they really have 2.5 hours a day that they can really invest into their career, into your company, So this is like what really works. And of course, there is a risk of your people being poached on LinkedIn. And it happens usually when you just tell them, okay, go, and post. So they don't have a strategy. They don't know what to do. They don't have tools. And they are building only their personal brand. They are not building the company brand. And this is like the number one thing. If you think you have your employee ambassadors, you need to make sure that your employee ambassadors are building your company brand along their personal brand, not their side hustle, for example.
Yes, exactly. That's really good advice. And exactly, the right approach. Obviously it is. But yes, people will get poached anyway, won't they? And in the nicest possible way, as an employer, it's your responsibility to keep your team. And also, if an employee isn't happy in the company and they want to leave, then they're going to leave anyway, aren't they? Whether or not. And there are, and I can't remember the stat. You may know it. How many people are quietly looking for jobs all the time? They're floating around on LinkedIn. They're checking into Indeed, and there are many people out there who are looking for their next opportunity. Even the minute they're hired in the one they've got. And there will be people like that, and they'll move around. And as you say, if you encourage them to be the brand for the company as well, hopefully that's less likely to happen.
Yes, because also they have the social proof. They have the social proof that their company is good because, it's presented on LinkedIn. Other people see it and they say, wow, I loved it. I would love to have this kind of benefit in my company, for example, or I love this project. I love this CSR project that you're doing, and how cool that your company is supporting it. So it really builds the culture also inside the company. And this is very interesting that you can use employee advocacy for internal communication. So you can have
Yeah.
intranets, you can have internal magazines, like whatever, but if you have the social proof from the outside, whether on LinkedIn or other social media, it really helps internal communication too.
It really does. And especially with so many people working remotely now, I've been amazed actually at that side of employee advocacy, that's happened without kind of pushing it, but it definitely happens because people get to know each other better through their posts. And it's just wonderful to see. And I really love it. So I can't believe the time. Absolutely can't believe the time. And I want to also give a shout out to Craig Allen, who's just joined us. Hello, Craig. And Steve Elliott's here. Any questions? Throw them in, although we are really running out of time. We've got less than 4 minutes before the end of the half hour. We might go over a little bit if nobody minds. I wanted to ask both of you separately, and Christina, I'll start with you. So obviously you've both been doing this for a long time, you understand it, you know how it works, and I would love you to help the people who are here today watching, and also people who are listening to the podcast when it comes out. Can you give 3 actionable tips for our listeners and watchers to take away and implement today?
I would start with one following our discussion just a couple of minutes ago. I would say create a culture where employee advocacy is supported and celebrated by other employees. This helps a lot. It can change everything in the culture, in the company. And of course, they to have the sustainable employee advocacy, give your ambassadors tools and all education they need. So not just go and post, but really have an educational plan. And at the beginning, this is very important, choose the right people for the right roles. Because you want to, maybe in the company, you can choose if you want your CEO to be ambassador, but if he or she does not have time to post regularly, just let them be a guardian of the project. It's completely fine for them to post once a month, twice a month when they have time, and they will have a huge support of the cheerleaders and of course other ambassadors. So choose the right people for the right roles.
I love that. So make it part of the culture, give them the tools, and choose the right people. I love those tips. Before I go over to you, Ivana, I'm afraid we do have a question in from Craig. When does employee advocacy become a pod? Oh, now, for those of you that don't know, a pod is when a whole group of people kind of inanely and without really any focus, generally, not always, but generally, comment on each other's posts in the attempt to give them more reach and engagement. And in general, I would say, and I'm sure you ladies would agree, that pods are not a good thing because they're not necessarily the correct audience. But that's a good question, Craig. Christine, I'm going to go back to you. When does employee advocacy become a pod?
Okay, so here's the thing.
It doesn't necessarily. Does it have to become a pod? Is it a pod?
No, it doesn't. But when you have your ambassadors, they're usually are supporting each other, and this is a good thing to have a support from your colleagues. They are the closest one for this project. So, but I know what you mean. Yeah. Usually when we have a question, of course, what if in our company page we have only comments from our employees and not other people? But our answer is, what if even your employees does not comment, that don't comment? So this is a bigger problem, I think. I don't know. Like, if they support each other, I think it's good to have the support system. We can call it pod. I'm not sure, but I don't know if Evie, if you want to add something.
Yeah, I think it's like a very similar, like when we met in Uplift, we liked each other and we support each other's content. It's just normal. It's not like the pod where you use robots to boost your content, or you just write everywhere great post. Yes. And the thing is, if you have employee advocacy and you have those employees who are posting, but they don't know about each other's posts, they need to have a system where to find it. Of course, they can have like the bell, blah, blah, blah. But if they are really busy, they can miss that someone has posted. So sometimes they have channel where they, post, okay, I posted it, please support. And if you get your first 5 likes from your colleagues, it's totally okay, because you need to start somehow. In 3 months or in a year, you won't need it. Yes, but people are afraid to ask for support, and people are totally willing to support you on LinkedIn, and they don't have to be colleagues. They can be other people, and you just tell them, okay, this is my first post. Please support it, because, I want to get it right, and I want to start creating content. So it's not like the pot. I would say it's different.
I agree. Although I have had objections from companies in the past, or employees rather, where I've said, when because I usually create a LinkedIn group and put all the advocates in there, and then we post in there. We're going to post at 3:00 on the company page on 3:00 on Thursday, so everybody knows when that post is going out, so they can just leave 5-10 minutes aside just to go and comment on the post. And people say, but doesn't that look really stupid if all of the comments are from the company? And I said, no, quite the opposite. It looks like you're all engaged and you're all working together on this. And I think that's what Craig means by it being a pod. But you're right, it's supporting a group of people that we value, and we value their content, rather than it being an inane pod with comments like you said, Ivana, great post.
Yes.
All right. Some of the things I'll do, and this is visual, so apologies if you're listening and you're not watching, but sometimes somebody will say something to me in a training session and I'll just go, they'll go, that's weird. And I go, yeah, don't do it in real life. Don't just put your thumb up in real life. Don't do it on LinkedIn either. Let's have comments. Let's have a conversation, which is what we're about. Yes. Okay, we are over time. So Ivana, I'm going to go to you now. So your 3 top takeaway tips for our audience.
I would say what works for us when it comes to employee advocacy for the last 10 years is gamification. So if you make it fun, and if you have a real process for your ambassadors, it will work way better than if you don't. The second thing is you need micro learning, because people are busy, they don't have time, so they want to consume and learn in micro lessons, and then it makes it easier for the ambassadors to be active. And the third thing is plan your LinkedIn internationally or globally if you are a bigger company, because we have companies who bought packages from LinkedIn for €500,000, but they don't know what they are doing in each country. So if you plan it globally, you will use those money that you have spent to really see your ROI. And that is very important with employee advocacy too.
So I'm just looking at that, looking for each company, and would like some clarification on that. So are you saying have separate strategies for each country, or looking at it from a global perspective?
Yes, usually we look at it from the global perspective first, and then you have a separate strategy for each country, because it's very different. For example, if we have clients in the US, which is a huge market with one language, then in Europe, which is a smaller market with so many languages, and so many cultures that are very, very different. So I would say that the global part is very important, and then you have to localize it for each country too. And you need to know what each country is doing, because otherwise you are creating the content in various countries, and you could do it globally and then just localize it for us. So you would have much, much less work. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yes.
Yes. So you have an option to have one global page, LinkedIn page, or one global and then some small pages, and this is the difference you need to know, and you need to really focus on first, because if you create a structure that is too difficult, then nobody understands what's happening, and they can't support each other globally too.
Brilliant. And also, when you're looking globally, to have the overall global theme, but also bearing in mind cultural differences within each country, presumably. Well, no, we need to make sure that we're aware of those. So amazing 3 tips. Thank you so much. We've got a very long comment in. LinkedIn keeps. I don't know. Ryan's talking. He couldn't comment, but now he's back. So okay. Thank you for that, Ryan. But thank you everybody for joining and for your questions and comments. It's been fantastic. But Ivana and Christina, it's been too short, but it is what it is, and it's been wonderful to talk to you about employee advocacy. I do have one last question though. It's really tricky. You ready for this? Where can people find you? Where's the best place to find you guys?
Of course, LinkedIn, of course. Or sundayflies.com, yes, but LinkedIn for sure.
LinkedIn, on your personal profiles, you also have a company page, and I noticed that you do post in 2 languages, yes. Or maybe more than 2, but it looks like just 2 to me, English being one of them, yes. And of course on your website.
Yes, our personal profiles are in English, so the best way to reach us is there. And there is no one with the same name as we have, both of us. So you can't get confused.
It's very easy to find you guys.
Yes, it is.
So the sisters who are rocking it on LinkedIn, thank you so much for joining me. And I look forward to, hopefully we'll get you on again sometime. But thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to play us out with a bit of music so that we can have a dance. We didn't talk about dancing, but we met dancing. So let's do a little dance.